Tell the truth. It simplifies your life.
Welcome to Agency for Change, a podcast from KidGlov that brings you the stories of change makers who are actively working to improve our communities. In every episode, we'll meet with people who are making a lasting impact in the places we call home.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Agency for Change podcast. I'm Lynn Weinman, President and Chief Strategist at KidGlov, and I am so glad that you're here today. I know we have a lot of nonprofit leaders in our audience, and sometimes being a nonprofit leader can feel very lonely. So today, we're going to talk with someone who represents an organization that sees you, that hears you, and that supports you. Our guest is Alicia Osgood. She's the Director of Communications from the ANA Nonprofit Federation, and she is here to talk all things nonprofit, including their big annual conference that just happened last week. So buckle up, listen in. Alicia, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
It's so great to have you here. And I know you have a very busy schedule, so we will just jump in. Alicia, I'd love to start by having you tell us more about the ANA Nonprofit Federation. I know we have a lot of nonprofit listeners, and they'll be eager to hear more.
Well, the ANA Nonprofit Federation exists to help nonprofits drive growth for their missions. We do this through a variety of ways. We do this through our conferences, through our education that's available not just in conference form, but in training. We offer in-person trainings. We offer on-demand trainings. There's a la carte trainings. I just took one myself last week on AI. It was really interesting. We also have very practical services that help you do your job, like the Ask Research service, where if you have a marketing or a fundraising question that you can't answer, you submit an online request form, and you can have them, and you can have our wonderful research team do all that work for you to find that answer that you need. We have a full service government relations team that provides incredible advocacy for our members. We also offer unparalleled networking through our conferences and committees. The committees actually is what's really neat about the committees is they're a free benefit of membership. There's no charge to attend the meetings. And we do 3 virtual for our brand purpose, for example, which I'm the co-planner manager of.
That sounds like fun, Alicia, by the way. That sounds like a lot of fun.
We offer 3 virtual meetings and 1 in person. So you have opportunities to attend regardless, especially now with travel budgets being what they are and the realities of the current situation. Our programs are designed to accommodate you regardless of your situation.
Fantastic. Since you mentioned the realities of the current situation, I'm just curious your thinking on why is this work that you're doing at the ANA Nonprofit Federation so important right now?
Well, as communications director, it's my responsibility to make sure that the ANA nonprofit members are aware of all those services I just listed.
Yeah.
So I do that through my newsletters. There's a weekly job publication I put out every Tuesday called ANA Nonprofit Careers. It lists opportunities that are available with nonprofits and the agencies that support nonprofits.
Fantastic.
I also do what's called the Nonprofit Now, which comes out every Thursday. And that basically lists all those things that I just talked about, our mentorship program, our committees, our trainings that are available, our webinars that are available, anything that is in the ANA universe that would be applicable to a nonprofit that a nonprofit would be interested in. That email will list it out so that you don't have to go searching. Because the ANA is, as you know, is a huge organization with lots of different tentacles and areas that it covers. So it's a really nice feature to have that email every week that says, okay, this is what we have for the nonprofits specifically going on this week. And there's never any shortage of opportunities.
Oh, I love that. Since you mentioned it, Alicia, I'd love to hear, because there might be people out there that are not familiar with ANA. Can you tell us a little bit more about that parent organization as well?
Sure. So the ANA, we were acquired by the ANA back some years ago now from what was the Direct Marketing Association. Coming in as the Nonprofit Federation. The ANA, the marriage of the ANA and the Nonprofit Federation was a really great opportunity because, as you know, ANA has all the brands.
Yeah.
And then you bring in the nonprofits. And what's a really rich opportunity for both sides is through cause marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And we provided an opportunity to connect with those brands and make those connections, which especially given the situation we're currently in,
Yeah.
this is really an opportunity for everybody to step up. Donors, but also the corporate side of things.
Yeah.
And I'm really hopeful that if there was ever a time we can make those connections, well, one of our keynotes at our conference will be from Mattel. So we want to really get these marriages going. There's been some reluctance on corporations to really support nonprofits as they should. A very small percentage, a very small number actually are in there engaging with nonprofits and supporting them as they should. And we want to change that.
Yeah.
When it talked on the questions, let's say about questions about opportunities and challenges, we have a real opportunity right now. Everybody does. Donors to step up, corporations to really stand behind nonprofits, but also to stand behind some of these initiatives that some of them sadly are backing away from around
Mm-hmm.
DEIB and and some of their internal initiatives to try to support a better world. Like, this is not the time to step back from that. It's a time to step forward and lean forward. And one way to do that is helping nonprofits fill the gaps. So I'm hoping we can really, when we're having these conversations at the conference next week, I'm hoping we can really delve into this and help nonprofits see through this. We already have nonprofits operating on a really razor thin margin.
Yeah. Alicia, I love what you're saying because I've seen a lot of research recently about how consumers want to support brands that are making a difference in the world.
Yes,
And
exactly.
I'm sure A&A sees this on both sides because you're working with the advertisers and the nonprofits. But bringing in Mattel to your nonprofit conference, that's a really bold move. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, as I said, we have a whole cause marketing track that's going to be available at the conference, not just the one keynote. I mean, that's a huge opportunity for nonprofits, and that's a unique value proposition that sets the ANA Nonprofit Federation apart from other organizations in the space. Because as I'm sure you know, there's a lot of professional development groups out there for nonprofits.
Yeah.
What the ANA offers you that other organizations don't is the connection with the brands, the direct relationship with the brands, the opportunity for nonprofits to serve on the ANA board of directors as they do. Like, for instance, American Heart Association will have Gerald Johnson as another one of our keynotes
Yeah.
on the ANA board, and he's head of the sponsorship committee for the whole ANA, right? So this is an opportunity for people to get together directly, talk to one another, network, and start to get more. And obviously, Mattel is not a problem. Mattel's already supporting nonprofits,
Right,
obviously.
right.
But there are some corporations out there that have been reluctant to step in. And as I mentioned, we've seen corporations sadly stepping back from DEIB policies and doing things that reacting the wrong way to what's going on.
Alicia, you are so generous in doing this interview with me because the way this works is you're doing the interview before the conference, but the podcast is going to air right after the conference. So I know you're really busy, but I just love to hear more about the conference. I know it's too late to register for this year, but it's never too late to start planning for next year. So tell me more about, what you're excited about with the conference.
Well, I'm really excited because we have 6 keynote speakers coming in.
Wow.
We have 7 tracks. And so literally within the program, you're going to hear from some really, star keynotes. American Heart Association, as I mentioned, Gerald Johnson's going to be speaking. We've got Nancy Melinda from Mattel. We've also got Khalil El-Khatib from Consumer Reports coming in. We've got Toon Walkman from World Central Kitchen. She's going to be in
Wow.
conversation with nonprofit journalist Paul Collery, who I'm sure you're familiar with through the Nonprofit
Yep.
Times and all the great work they've done on behalf of the sector over the years. I know I'm forgetting somebody here
No,
because we have
I'm
6 keynotes. So apologies if I left out your name there. But as I said, we have a wonderful group of people coming forward. And Kimberly Cooper from the Kennedy Center. How could I forget? She'll be there too as a keynote. We also have Habitat for Humanity. Amy Dunham will be there. She's their chief communications officer, talking about how important brand is, but obviously how marketing gets a seat at the strategy table, because it seems logical, right? But people leave marketing out of these conversations, and it's marketing's job to make what you're trying to do as an organization work. And so if they're left out of those conversations, how does that happen? How does that work?
Alicia, that's music to my ears because you're right. If marketing is at the table, we can really be the voice of the customer or the donor or the funder or the people who receive our mission, who are all important in the strategy, right?
Mhm.
And that way we can be right there on the front lines helping to shape that strategy. But then also, when you have a marketing leader who is knee deep in the strategy, it's
Mhm.
also easier and more effective for them to launch that strategy from a marketing
Exactly.
perspective. It all becomes
Mhm.
very seamless. So I love that you said that. And you obviously have an amazing speaker lineup. One thing I love about a conference like the one you are putting on is that sometimes nonprofits and nonprofit marketers in particular can feel isolated, right? We're in
Mhm.
our jobs, we're alone, and we're trying to figure it all out, and we think we're the only ones that have certain issues. And you come to a conference like this, and it's just re-energizing not only to learn from the speakers, but to speak with others who are in the same boat, walking in the same shoes, and it can be really inspirational and re-energizing as well. And when you've got that energy, it just propels you forward. Do you find that as well?
Oh, definitely. And I think with what's going on right now, the conference is at a very opportune time because
Yes.
we all really do need to talk and sit down with one another. We have an executive roundtable that's going to open the conference, which will give a chance for nonprofit leaders to be in the room together and talk about how their organizations are approaching this. And
Amazing.
those nonprofits will be, obviously international relief organizations, but
Yeah.
also US only organizations. They'll be from run the gamut and be able to have conversations about how they're approaching this, how they're getting through it. That's the kind of thing you really can't, there's no comparison for getting together and talking face to face about the issues. And
Absolutely.
obviously our government relations head, Christopher Oswald, will be there. He'll be presenting. And so he'll be able to interact directly with the members and to provide whatever we want to, ANA wants to provide whatever support we can to help people through this.
That's fantastic. So, Alicia, you are obviously immersed in this world of nonprofits. I'm really curious, what are some of the biggest challenges and opportunities that you are hearing are facing these nonprofit organizations today?
Well, I think the most pressing challenge right now is obviously the situation with the executive orders
Right.
and cutting of support. And that's where I earlier mentioned that it's very important for people to see this as the opportunity that it is. Nonprofits shouldn't hold back in their appeals. Definitely make clear, look, we're losing support, so we need you to step in and fill that gap. It's
Absolutely.
important to educate that nonprofits already operate on a razor thin margin. There's really no room for foolishness, as they say, to start with. And so we need to make the message at the conference very clear that you need to communicate to your donors that you need support now. It
Yeah.
can't be like later. If you've got donor advised fund, now's the time to pay out, folks. If you're a corporation who has been a corporate partner of various nonprofits, now's the time to up your gifts, not roll them back. Reward organizations who stand up to for their principles and say, I'm not going to roll back my DEI
Yeah.
programs. Go ahead and cut my support like the theater in Minneapolis did. Just say it. But then the donors and the corporations have to step up to fill those gaps.
Yeah.
One longer term thing that I think the ANA also provides unique services to help with the training and the education that we offer, which is really unparalleled. We have the CAMP program, the Certified Marketer program. That's really unparalleled. Those are unparalleled services, and they really help to professionalize and help people to do their jobs better, which ultimately benefits everybody, including the organizations. Because one of my favorite expressions has always been that, the organization is the 501c. Your employees are not.
Oh, yeah.
You're working for a nonprofit mission, you're working for a charity, but you are not a charity. So
Right.
it's very important for everybody to be part of professionalizing the sector. It means compensating people appropriately. It means making sure people have the proper education and resources they need to do their jobs more effectively. It's recognizing, with all the advancements around AI and AI helping, uh, I did a piece with Paul Collery not long ago. And one of the things he talked about was how a study showed that when people came back after COVID, AI had replaced a lot of those jobs.
Yeah. Or
So we need,
change them
yeah,
significantly,
yeah,
right? And if you aren't used to embracing new technology, if you were one of
mhm,
those people that thought, I'm fine, I'm just going to ease out of my career without worrying about I got news for you, right? Like
yeah,
AI is touching every corner of
yes.
the world, I believe.
And we all have to, have to be aware of this and have to, and have to make sure that we have our education up to date, make sure all of our skills are up to date so that we can compete, but also so that, we can have that conversation, because I think that's been a longstanding problem is when you work for a nonprofit, like, and I realize resources are small, but that is where, the training programs that ANA offers, we have offerings that are included in membership fees.
Yes.
So there's no additional charges. Things like the committees, the mentorship program, you don't pay additional for those. So it's good to, take advantage of those things and talk to the leaders and help improve your own situation, because it will benefit the organization.
Yeah. Alicia, one thing that occurs to me too, as I hear you talk about this training, what I love about it is it's very specialized towards nonprofits, because I feel like even though nonprofits need to run like a business and they need to make payroll and pay their bills and do all the things, it is different. It's a different nuance. It's a different type of business. From a marketing and branding standpoint, it's a very different way of communicating with people. And it occurs to me that your training then is even more valuable because
Mhm.
of how deep you are
Mhm.
in this world.
Right. So we have, and I should be clear that we have, of course, the ANA training offerings. We also have the nonprofit training offerings.
Yeah.
So they're actually two different. The ANA training is going to provide you the full, basically, marketing education.
Okay.
And you can literally get certified through that program. And then the nonprofit trainings are obviously specialized nonprofit trainings, and those can be in person, those can be online. We have the webinar program, we have the mentorship program, we have the conference that's coming up here. We have a lot of different offerings, but I think it's important too to not get caught up in the vocabulary. That's another thing
Yeah.
I always say. With marketing and fundraising, ultimately you're trying to support a mission, and as hopefully for-profits and nonprofits begin to work more together and to marry more, cause marketing to benefit missions and to benefit causes,
Hmm.
to be on the right side of things as we move forward as a society, that's gonna change even more.
That's
And you
fantastic.
see a lot of, and you also see a lot of changes. I mean, a lot of the speakers, for instance, Kimberly Cooper, who's coming in from the Kennedy Center, she has a heavily corporate background coming into the Kennedy Center. So, those folks bring a lot of interesting, perspectives from corporate, and they bring that approach. And that's a really, valuable thing. I think learning from each other is important.
That's a great point, a really great point. So, we've talked quite a bit about the conference and the trainings, but I'm curious, once the big conference is over, what's on the horizon for the ANA Nonprofit Federation?
Well, once the conference is passed, what we do is we offer, our regular just standing group of education, things like our webinars, our trainings, like I talked about. We'll have some things coming up on the horizon with that. We'll also have our committee meetings. The Nonprofit Organizations Committee will actually meet at the conference this year, for their winter meeting.
Yeah.
But the Brand Purpose Committee meeting will be on March 26th. It'll be a virtual offering. We'll have Visit California, which will be a very interesting conversation
Yeah.
with what's happened in California, and how Visit California is going to really help to California navigate
Wow.
what's occurred. So we'll be able to have them on, and we'll also have Ambar Thompson, the author, who will come on and speak to everybody. So, we'll have all of our regularly scheduled programming. So it won't be a big
Mhm.
conference. It won't be 6 keynotes and 7 tracks, but we'll still have those same services. And I'll still be there putting out the nonprofit careers every Tuesday and the nonprofit now every Thursday, so that our members can find the services and know what's going on.
Fantastic. So, Alicia, what advice do you have for nonprofits right now? I'm really curious for those who are looking to strengthen their communications and just their overall strategies to fulfill their mission.
Well, I encourage members, obviously members of the ANA Nonprofit Federation. And if you're not sure if you're a member, because I know, again, a lot of large organizations out there you don't necessarily know,
Yeah.
definitely inquire at ana.net /nonprofit and visit our membership tab. And if you're not sure if you're a member, to reach out and make contact to engage with our services. We have a lot of, like I said, really valuable things to offer. And I really feel that we really need to help support our members right now.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I would really encourage.
So, Alicia, those that are listening right now that may not know as much as they would like to about ANA and the ANA Nonprofit Federation, how can they find out more? How can they check out membership and in the organization?
Well, that's a great question. You can visit ana.net /nonprofit to check out the nonprofit specific area of the site, where it'll list out trainings and opportunities that we have and great content offerings. But also, there is actually under the membership tab on the ANA site, there's actually a section for nonprofit membership. And you'll be able to go there and you'll be able to visit the 2025 membership grid, which has all three different levels of membership available to nonprofits listed there. And you'll be able to go through all the different benefits that are available for nonprofits.
That's great. That's great. We'll make sure for anyone who didn't catch that, we'll make sure to have that in the show notes as well on the KidGlov website. So,
Right.
Alicia, I'm going to ask you next my favorite question. We've done about 230 episodes of Agency for Change. We've asked this question on every one because I'm inspired by motivational quotes, and you obviously are a very motivated and inspirational person. I would love an Alicia Osgood original quote to share with our listeners.
Tell the truth. It simplifies your life.
Ooh, I love that. Tell the truth. It simplifies your life. That's good. I bet that's come in handy for you, for all kinds of people, right?
Yes. I mean, I think honesty is a really important thing, and just being true to who you are, but also it's how you show respect for other people,
Yeah,
is by being honest with them.
that's
And what the
fantastic.
funny thing is you find out, they say the realer you are, the smaller your circle is. Because what you find out, sadly, is a lot of people don't really like the truth that much. They don't always
Mm,
want to hear it, but it's still important to say it because you have to live with the person you see in the mirror.
yeah,
And you really have
absolutely.
a hard time doing that if you're not living an honest life and you're not being who and what you are.
Alicia, that's great advice. Thank you. You gave us great advice and a great quote all in one. I have really enjoyed talking with you today. I've really enjoyed getting to know you, learning more about the Nonprofit Federation. I'm really curious as we wrap up this conversation, what is the most important thing you would like people to remember about the work that you're doing?
Well, I think the most important thing is that we're helping nonprofits drive their missions, support their missions, grow their missions. We're here to help nonprofits do the really important work that they do. Make sure school kids get their lunch at school because they're trying to take kids' lunches away. And I
Yeah,
don't know what's in your mind to even do something like that.
right.
We're here to make sure that the medical support goes to places in the world that are under attack. We're here to make sure that, that the arts continue to survive and can continue to enrich our lives in the way that they do. We're here to make sure that hungry people, I realize I mentioned the school kids, but hungry people,
Yeah,
period. We're here to make sure that when a natural disaster strikes, which is sadly all too frequent now, that our disaster relief organizations can get out there and provide the support they need. We're here to make sure that animals aren't abused and mistreated, and that if there are, the ASPCA, one of our members, can go in there and rescue animals that are in terrible situations. You're here to help people who really can't help themselves in the nonprofit sector. You're really doing the best work there is. And so it's our job as a federation to encourage more and more people to support that in ways that they haven't been supporting that to a sufficient level. And that's the job of the nonprofit federation. And being with ANA and in their powerful network, we have the ability to bring more people to the table to do that. So obviously this is airing after the conference, but at the conference, we'll have had a chance to get everybody in the room
yeah.
and in big room because it's in MGM, National Harbor. So it'll be a big room, but we're going to have the opportunity to get everybody together and plan our way forward.
Yeah, that's amazing. Alicia, that is big work. And I love the way that you put that because you're not doing the work yourself, but you're helping those organizations that are on the ground doing that vital work. You're helping them get better, stronger, more equipped to do the things they need to do. And that's really important. Alicia, I've got to say, I believe the world needs more people like you and more organizations like the ANA Nonprofit Federation. Thank you for joining us on the Agency for Change today.
Well, thank you for having me. This has been a pleasure.
We hope you enjoyed today's Agency for Change podcast. To hear all our interviews with those who are making a positive change in our communities, or to nominate a changemaker you'd love to hear from, visit KidGlov.com at KidGlov.com to get in touch. As always, if you like what you've heard today, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and share. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.